the Nerd Show. Podcast Radio. She's a nerd, he's a nerd, talking about what we know. Nerd Podcast Radio. We're all nerds, we're all nerds, buckle up, cause here we go. Nerd Podcast Radio. Welcome everybody to the Nerd Podcast Radio. Welcome everybody to the Nerd Podcast Radio.
Welcome to Nerd Podcast Radio, your nerd home away from home.
Welcome to Nerd Podcast Radio, your bi-weekly dose of all things nerdy, from comic books to coding to candelabras. I am your host, Super Vegan Brian. I'm joined by David the Third.
Hi, everybody.
Anya is also here.
Hey!
And we have a very special guest, straight from the Shire. Paulbo Baggins is here.
Evening, friends. Well, I guess not
Paulbo Baggins.
For those of our listeners who have not met you in another episode that you have been on, please give a short intro.
So I'm Paulbo Baggins. I play Minecraft and am into a bunch of nerdy stuff like aircraft and airplanes and everything aviation, and history and a whole bunch of other stuff.
And on today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into a very special topic and probably some other things. Speaking of topics, we're going to be talking about reenactments and other stuff that comes to mind, as usual. But first,
we're going to play everybody's favorite game, What's Nerdy With You? The game where we make some shit up about stuff we did in the last couple of weeks and then vote on who was the best at bullshit.
That sums it up.
Yeah, Erica's not here. Yeah. She can do the spiel when she's here.
David has never actually been to a Ren Fair before or a Strategicon. It's all bullshit. Make it up.
I'm quite good at it. My name's actually John. Nice to meet everybody.
Paulbo.
Hi, John.
Oh my Paulbo,
leave that in. Leave that in.
You expect me to edit this? You think I have the time?
I was trying to make you look good, jackass.
I just uploaded 2 episodes that I was backlogged on today. You think I have the time to edit?
It's called kayfabe, asshole. Come on.
All right. Paulbo, since you're our guest, you get to go first. What was nerdy with you in the last few weeks?
So the biggest thing, and I'll save the reenacting for when we talk about that later. But the biggest thing is I've recently gotten a little more deep into aviation photography and plane spotting. So I convinced my sister to let me use her camera. It's a Rebel T6i, I think, Canon camera, DSLR. And I've been digging a little deeper into that, and I finally bit the bullet and gave Adobe my money and paid for a Lightroom subscription. So I can actually edit stuff. So
yay! We should do a call sometime and do some screen sharing. I'm not anymore, but at one point in my life, I was an Adobe certified expert, and I love Lightroom.
There you go. Well, I love Lightroom way better than any of the free options that I've managed to find because they are all trash.
Have you played with the app yet?
I've not. I need to play with it a little bit because I've got a bunch of pictures. I've got all the pictures that I've taken with the DSLR, but then I've got a bunch of pictures that I've taken with my phone that I want to try and make usable.
Lightroom is fantastic. And you can shoot RAW with a Rebel. So it's great for RAW processing.
Yep.
Everybody's like, Paulbo scratch Brian's nerdy itch. There's where his widgets are going.
Autistic rant incoming.
Nice for impact.
I will talk about photography later, but I am yes I am, and with me it's a ADHD hyperfixation rant.
Please, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We could discuss photography and men's fashions all day, but business must.
I just want to make it clear that I'm not going to virtue steal any other neurodivergence. I'll be very clear that I am ADHD. I am not on any spectrum, and I will not virtue steal from that community.
I was quoting.
Okay, well, I'm from the community, so I will say that you can call it a hyper-focus rant. I think autistic rant still works, but I can't speak for all the autistics.
Is there more to share, Paulbo? I'm sorry,
That's everything I have for now.
You pushed my very special nerdy thing button right there, and I have been craving to get into some editing lately. So, Anya, what's been nerdy with you?
Okay, I got 2 things, but they're kind of quick. First thing, I started reading a new book. Oh, and I finished a book. I finished book 2 of Dorley Hall. So I've now officially read, I think, 3 books this year.
Sweet.
And I've written a book. So we're on to this new book. Actually, I kind of became friends with the author, and it's about this trans girl who went to a party and she did so much psychedelic. She accidentally reached out to an interdimensional Lovecraftian Cthulhu being that was about to kill her, but she convinced it to basically use her as like a way to view the rest of humanity. And so she's kind of just like, and so now this like Lovecraftian thing is kind of puppeting her to experience humanity.
So Scientology?
Yes, I don't know. It's really cool. It's really cool, especially the way that
that was great.
Especially the way that it's kind of explained, like so like she goes into the bathroom and what happens is so the creature kind of represents itself through her reflection. So whenever the creature's speaking to her, it's speaking to her as like a clone of herself, but with like hollowed out black empty eyes, where at the center there's like an alien color that doesn't exist in our reality. And it warps reality around her, and it's really interesting. It's really trippy.
Neat.
The other nerdy thing I did is so that book series I was reading, the one I was talking about while I'm on book 2, there's a Discord fan group for it. A bunch of us girls met up, and we've all become like this large like IRL friend group. Some of them came to my wedding. And last night we all had a big hangout. We went to LA, and then we went and did karaoke. There was about 14 of us that showed up. And so yeah, I did karaoke. And here's the really cool nerdy part. I sang a death metal song.
Which band?
So they had the option to where you could stream from YouTube like songs. So
Yeah.
I found a song. I did Behemoth Slaying the Prophets of Iza.
That's not an easy song. How did you do?
I think I did really great. My throat's a little scratchy because I didn't want to yell, but like I'm not hurting.
Wow. Well, nicely done. Okay. Never mind, Paulbo.
What?
So yeah, read a book, started.
I'm big into karaoke, so this was another nerdy button scratch.
Okay, how about you, Brian? What you got going on?
David gets to go last. I'm gonna mess with the order, but I totally will. It's very subjective on if this was nerdy. Because I was talking to my wife about it, and she was like, "How is that nerdy? I don't get it." Because I told her what I was going to share. So we went to a concert on Thursday, and it was the headliner was Shinedown, but that wasn't the reason I was there. I was there because Bush was the opening act. It was Morgan Wade, which I actually really liked, and then Bush, and then Shinedown. I spaced out through Shinedown. They were okay, but Bush brought back my 13, 14-year-old self. It was
Nice.
So great and amazing. But I think the highlight nerdy thing of it was, one, they played every single single. They played every single single. They played every single. They played all of their singles, which isn't normal. Like you go to see an opening act, they normally play their new stuff and maybe one old classic single. They played every single. If you know Bush for a song, they played it, which was pretty amazing. But I think the big thing the reason why I wanted to share it is because about halfway through their act, Gavin Rosdale goes to the middle of the stage and he goes, "Everybody hold up your phones and turn your lights on because this is going to be powerful. And I want to see the stars." And goes into this big thing, and we all held our phones up. And he started singing Swallow, and I immediately burst into tears. And it was unexpected because I knew I liked the song, but I hadn't thought about the song in years. And it was like my favorite Bush song that I forgot about because, I'm old and it was a very long time ago. So yeah, a rock band from when I was a teenager made me cry. And it was
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And nerdy thing number 2, I bought a tour shirt, which I have never done before.
Nice.
Because they're too expensive, and Heather made me buy it because I don't buy myself things.
Nice.
I'm not wearing it because it's hot here and it's black shirt. David.
Unfortunately, I didn't really have all that nerdy of a week. The nerdiest thing I did was I ran the first session for my 3rd weekly D&D campaign today. To be fair, I'm GMing again. So 2 of the 3 I'm in weekly, I'm GMing. I play a lot of D&D. This one we're actually doing 5th edition, and I'm running them through a homebrew campaign set in Forgotten Realms, but basically think Kingdom Hearts meets D&D.
Oh.
Yeah.
So so is there a home base in Forgotten Realms? Like, are you in a specific place?
They started in a town. I started them in a town I made up outside of Waterdeep.
Okay. And how is it Kingdom Hearts?
Well, they get sent into a cave. The cave contains a portal. Through the portal is a element into the astral sea. Inside this chunk of the astral sea, there floats an island that just happens to be the ice cream scooped out location of a certain spot in Anaheim. But it's been twisted by the magics. So the land of Disney has become. Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'm amazed.
First stop, Adventureland. The first big boss they fight is going to be Shere Khan is the first mini boss, and the big boss of Adventureland is obviously on Pride Rock. It's got to be Scar.
So when they need to take a long rest, do they go to the tiki room?
They can. It is definitely there. No, that's the thing is there are like cities and people live here. These places that become enchanted are real places. That's the thing. Is they're in the grasslands. It's a wild savanna.
I didn't do anything that big this way. I just ran my incredible campaign that I've never shared on the podcast before. Fuck you, David.
What?
Jesus Christ. I didn't do anything that big of a deal. Here's just the biggest nerdy bomb I've ever dropped.
No, that's great. That's amazing. Oh yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Well, I can't get full credit for this. Grant wrote most of this, and he and I bounced ideas off each other for a while, and I figured I might as well run a group through it. I know it well enough, so why not? Let's have some fun.
It makes me think like it since it's like this like Disney extra dimensional place, there should be all the rides that don't exist at Disneyland anymore. Like Alien Encounter.
It's not so much it's not so much rides as more the villains and all the lands. Like the big boss at the top of the big mountain where the big giant black castle is with the gigantic black dragon circling. Oh yeah, that's Maleficent, the dragon. You go fight her.
Sweet.
The level 20 ancient black dragon of fuck you.
Man, I would pay money to watch that season of Dimension 20. That's pretty cool, David.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. I've got the two players have never played before, so it's the game to their introduction. I figured I'd try and make it something they can recognize to help get them into it. So
and you did that and ended up coming up with one of the coolest ideas for a campaign I've ever heard of.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, they go. So the idea is they go to Adventureland. They're out in the savannas, and then from there they get into the swamps in the bayou, and they meet the rescue rangers out in the bayous. And then from the bayous you go to the pirates out on the coast, and then you deal with. So the big bad there would be the giant crocodile, the awakened dire crocodile. And then Captain Hook is obviously a very talented pirate master, and he's got a crew.
Is the awakened giant crocodile a chronomancer?
No, but he does have a clock inside of him, and you can identify him by the ticking noise. But no, he's awakened. He can understand what's going on, and he has a fun sense of irony.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Well,
and then from there we dart over to Fantasyland, and we start going through all the lands there. You meet the Alice in Wonderland. We dip into I've got it all planned out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, so there's 4 of us. We all get 4 widgets.
5
widgets because there's 4 of us. Like I said.
Yeah.
Paulbo, you get to go
Paulbo,
first.
you go first. Yes.
Alrighty.
Jesus Christ.
What? I'm sorry.
Paulbo,
apparently, I don't.
No, you're fine. I'm so used to it at this point. It's I don't even notice half the time. People will yell Paulbo and it'll be like, what? I'll answer to it. I'm gonna give 3 points to Brian, 3 widgets, sorry, to Brian, because I like it when people are passionate about music, because I'm really passionate about music, and that's really cool. And I'm gonna give
I have an important question for the young person, because you're the youngest one here, Paulbo. Do you know who Bush is?
I do not. I wasn't going to say anything, but
I'll still take him.
Paulbo, do you know
it doesn't matter.
Do you know who Neutral Milk Hotel is?
No.
I love you, Jesus Christ. You got to listen to them.
Alrighty then. I lost my train of thought.
Two more.
Oh, yeah,
Me too.
two more are going to David for D&D.
Yay.
All right, Anya, you have a number of widgets that may be 5.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give 2 to David, because D&D. 2 to Brian for... Yeah, I also say music, because I mean, I had my karaoke thing last night, so there's like a music connection going on. And I've been like getting into music lately. I don't know why, just as I've been getting older, I've been getting more...
Anya, do you know who Bush is?
No, I don't actually know Bush. I'll listen to him, I promise. And I'll give 1 to Paulbo. Your turn, Brian.
I am going to give, this is so hard. I think I have to do 2 to Paulbo and David and 1 to Anya. That was hard. Anya would have gotten all of them if David didn't share that campaign.
Yeah.
Dear God. And then David
Oh,
didn't do
all right.
anything special. I just came.
It's not like I pulled it out of my ass in 5 minutes. It's been on the back burner for years. That campaign was originally written for a 3.5 campaign. Jesus. It got converted twice. Once to Pathfinder and then again to 5th Ed. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to give 2 to Brian because, Muzak. And
Do you know who Bush is?
Nope, I do not. I'm sure I've heard their music, but I could not pick them out of a lineup.
The one time Erica's not here.
And I'm going to give 2 to Paulbo, and I'm going to give 1 to Anya.
Yay.
How old was everybody in 1992?
6.
That's 3.
Paulbo?
I think you know the answer.
Yeah.
I think he was on his way to being number 1.
He was in the land of oblivion. What was it, Mr. Nobody? The pre-place,
he'd be like
realm of
whatever his
creation?
previous life was.
He was
So,
in the
I don't
chamber,
know.
as it were.
Right, like I don't know, maybe
Oh,
some,
he
like,
was doing.
some, like,
he,
some, like Ironsmith in like
he was
in,
an
like, the
actor.
middle, like,
He wasn't
ages.
a reenactor. He was an enactor.
Yes, he would have been the one fighting in the war.
I'm 3rd in the birth order, and my oldest brother wasn't born yet.
My God, I feel old now. Fuck.
I mean, I was 13 in 1992.
Yeah, you're old.
So has anybody here heard the song Glycerine?
Yes.
That's Bush.
Okay. Like I said, I'm sure I've heard the music. I just couldn't
I
pick
had
them out
a
of
feeling if
lineup.
I said the name of the song with the lyric. Yeah, that's Bush. Bush did
Okay.
Glycerine.
Gotcha. Yes, I know a Bush song.
It was a very, very important moment.
If it's ever been played on K-Rock in the span between like 1999 and 2025, or 2015 or so, I've heard it.
Yeah, they're very famous for doing Glycerine and Everything Is Zen.
Yeah,
Those are the 2 songs that they're very famous for doing.
I have heard both of those songs.
And the other big thing the singer of Bush is famous for doing is Gwen Stefani.
Yes.
I believe David won. Oh no, I won. Hey!
Hey, good. I can get rid of some of these fucking things. They're all yours. They're eating me out of house and home, man.
I know Erica knows the band because she has sang their songs at karaoke.
Do I just mail the widgets to you, or will they take care of their own transportation?
The widgets are in a extra dimensional holding place right now. They were just wandering around David's place for the longest time.
Yeah, we had to fix that.
There was a
my power
reality-
bill started going up really bad.
When you're siphoning power through parallel electric grids from many different alternative realities, it can ramp up in price.
Edison started thinking I was Bitcoin farming or something.
Which, in a way you were. They do eat them.
I mean, yeah, but it was food. It was food, not money.
So I don't win very often.
Yay.
That's very nice.
Because you always downplay the nerdy shit you do.
Well, speaking of not winning, some people reenact the losing side of wars.
Yeah. I know lots of them.
Because I've heard that. Just because I don't remember, Paulbo, what is the major conflicts that you work with reenactors?
So I do the 7 Years' War, or the French and Indian War, and the American Revolution.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
I am a Civil War and World War II historian and reenactor. I also do medieval.
It's funny you mentioned losing sides because I primarily do the British and Amrev, and I do the French and Indian.
You like wearing red, huh? Okay.
When I grew up on the East Coast, and there was a giant reenactment like 3 blocks away from my house that I went to every year
Nice.
because they have them in big lots on parks.
Yeah, next
If
to
there's a
compounds.
big lot somewhere in
My
the East
Yeah.
Coast, they're probably doing reenactments there.
Yeah, right next to big compounds.
my sergeant has a story because he started out doing Civil War reenactment, and they had an entire battle in the parking lot of a Piggly Wiggly.
Nice.
What's the
I'm
strangest place you've done one?
So the strangest place I've ever worn my kit, we have a tradition. There's a reenactment. It's just 15 minutes up the road from where I live. And every time we go to Golden Corral fully dressed out in the entire kit, the whole 9 yards, all of the wool and everything. And we always
hmm
get a ton of weird looks.
hmm Oh
But
yeah, I've got a story like that too. I was at Ren Fair in Arizona, and we leave Ren Fair at 8 o'clock as the sun's going down, and I know a bunch of people that are working at that Ren Fair, so we hang out and go to dinner with them to this Indian place down the street. So there's this little sleepy Indian place with an all-you-can-eat buffet that's got like 6 people in it, and then 25 people in full Ren Fair garb walk in.
I do also, one of the reenactments that we do on a regular basis is in Metropolis, Illinois. And so I have a picture of me in full garb standing at the base of the Superman statue.
Nice.
My big question for you about your experiences, do you do reenactments with an audience, or do you do the ones where it's just for your enjoyment?
So I've done a couple of the ones that are just for my enjoyment, but my group that we are like, we're an entire company, we do them with an audience.
Nice.
So we did one last summer. We went up to Fort Niagara, right on Lake Erie, and did a reenactment. And that was easily the coolest one we've ever done because we were actually fighting out of the fort.
That's awesome. I'm a member of the Drum Barracks Battle Group out here, based in Wilmington. And unfortunately, they're not very active in the reenactment scene as much anymore. But when I first joined, like 25 years ago, several members were very active in the reenactment community. So it's a lot of fun.
I want you guys to share some of your experience so we can kind of get an idea of what the difference between like West Coast reenactment and East Coast reenactments like. Because I imagine that there's differences, or it's just the exact same thing.
From my understanding and from videos I've seen, I've not personally been to an East Coast reenactment, but I've seen a lot of footage of people that have gone to them and professionally done and stuff, and they look very similar. There's of the events they have out here tend to look a lot less organized. They're a little bit more ramshackly put together, but to be fair, as far as reenactment goes, that was true for the time. So it's really hard to fault it because they're actually being quite honest to the time.
What exactly is a reenactment for a listener who might not know?
Well, generally,
So-
a reenactment is a meeting of a group of people that are all dressed in certain period costumes or uniforms of certain type that represent what the average soldier of the day would be wearing. Usually they muster together as a small unit, a platoon or a company, whatever it fits into the amount of people that are in the group. And if they're in a military unit, they're all dressed, uniformly, generally. Depends on the military. Confederates don't necessarily dress uniformly because they're Confederates and they didn't have them.
Yeah, that's the thing you find a lot also with, especially out here on the East Coast, or not East Coast, but almost East Coast where I am in Kentucky, because a lot of this was all frontier. And so, having uniforms for these guys was really rare. And so you just find guys in hunters, smocks, and everything wearing whatever they could find.
Would you say, like people who reenact, like maybe like Star Trek or Star Wars or 40K battles, would you say that's reenactment, or would you say
Absolutely
that's like LARPing?
No, 1000% that is reenactment. It's looked down upon because of the extra nerdy element to it, but in my eyes, it's no different. None whatsoever.
There's a bit of a breach between historical and fiction reenactment, didn't there?
Yes, quite a bit. A lot of the historical reenactors, at least the old school ones, want it to be 100% historically accurate. They want it, and it's getting harder and harder to do that nowadays because those historically accurate cloths and materials and patterns and things are getting harder and harder to find. So oftentimes you are almost forced to using lesser made substitutes that might look good to the untrained eye, but the people that have those trained eyes can spot it a mile away.
I don't know what it's like for you for Civil War, World War II, but we do get a lot for AMREV and 7 Years.
I bet.
We get people who they will look at the stitches on your clothes and they can tell if it's been machine stitched, and they'll get onto you for machine stitching your clothes.
Oh, I'm like I said, I'm also a Renaissance reenactor, and there are several guilds that work the Renaissance fair where they get that anal about costuming. It's insane.
Is there conflict at Ren Fair because of it, or is it pretty chill?
It's generally accepted. If you're going to go for those parts, you need to do that. If you don't do it, you're not going to be accepted. I mean, I'm sure feathers get ruffled, but I've never heard of any actual conflicts breaking out because of it. You either have the money to spend on it or you don't. You have the time to invest in it or you don't. It's the thing about Ren Fair costumes is, time, money, and effort. Pick two.
Sometimes you can convert the time into money.
Sometimes, but not often.
By being very frugal and being very patient.
Yeah. And if you do things without costing a lot of money, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. If you do things with lots of money, you can do it very quickly, but like I said, pick two.
So I'm going to shift the conversation a bit, Paulbo, because I got a question.
Okay.
I am not real familiar with the 7-Year War. Is the 7-Year War the same thing as the French and Indian War?
Yeah, sorry. So we call it, either 7 years or F&I, but yeah, 7 Years War and the French and Indian War, the same thing.
And I don't remember what it was. I know it happened.
It was
after the Revolutionary War.
It was before the Revolution.
It was before the Revolutionary War. Okay. See, this is how ignorant I am.
Yeah.
It was basically the British and the French were both trying to colonize the Americas, and they're just reached a point where they butted heads over it. And so it was the French and I believe the Iroquois tribe against the British and coalition of other native tribes. And I don't remember which the leading tribe was with the British.
I don't remember which tribe it was either, but it was effectively what created Canada.
Yeah, pretty much.
Effectively.
And Washington was a hero of the 7-Year War.
Yes, he was.
What thrust Washington into prominence because he was a well-renowned British colonel.
My brain is accessing information now.
It actually is really what allowed us to fight the Revolutionary War, because
was all the training we got in that. Yeah,
all of the training and muskets, because the British would issue out muskets and then people could just take them home to hunt with.
Which is why the militias were as easy to raise as they were, because everybody was armed and everyone kind of knew what they were doing.
Yeah. If they didn't personally know what they were doing, their dads had taught them something.
Yeah, they would learn very quickly.
Yeah.
Which is one thing the British weren't expecting when they came to fight, because wait, they're just farmers. Oh wait, but we armed them 10 years ago. Yeah. Shit. We taught them how to fight. Crap.
Yeah, it is really interesting because you can see, if you go to museums and look at some of the pieces, you can see because the French and Indian War was fought in the 1750s, and you can see the differences from French and Indian. The French and Indian British muskets are the same as the American muskets in the Revolutionary War, but then if you look at British muskets in the Revolutionary War, they built a new musket by then. They built new weapons.
Yeah, they were using a newer generation of weapon. Mm-hmm. Their flints were better. Their weapons were better. They could shoot more rounds before getting fouled.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't have to clean their barrels as regularly. They could fire 5 or 6 rounds before they were so fouled they had to stop and actually clean them out.
Yep.
I did some quick Googling and I made some connections. My favorite figure involved in the 7-Year War is also involved in the Revolutionary War, and his name is Baron von Steuben. Valley Forge, David?
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Paulbo, are you familiar with von Steuben?
I am indeed.
Yep. Okay. So I bring up a famous figure, and the reason why I do is because I want to ask, how do you determine a reenactment who plays a person? Who are the people who are the recognizable people from history and who are just the generic people? Are there auditions? Is it seniority?
It depends on
Very-
who's putting on said reenactment, really.
Very often in my experience, like the reenactments that I do that are like actual historical battles, very often like if you're at a fort, it's right up the road. There's a fort. We do a siege where a guy plays Daniel Boone, and he's the fort director. Like he's the person who's actually employed by the park and works for them and runs the fort. So he's the one who runs it. So sometimes it's, you know, if there's somebody there who's an actual kind of putting on the event, and then sometimes it's just based on seniority.
Or in my case, for like Red Fair, the people that are playing named characters all have to audition. There's a process for it. Yeah, like it really depends on whoever's actually putting on the reenactment, however they want to do it.
Well, a lot of the like Ren Fair has paid people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
they also have non-paid
difference.
people. It's a big difference.
Yeah,
some of the I'm sure a lot of like the higher end reenact, especially for people paying that are paying to be there. If they do those, I don't even know if those are a thing anymore. I remember Tales they used to be, but I was told Tales of in the 90s there was a big Gettysburg reenactment that you actually had to pay money to be allowed to join.
Well, I imagine there's dues, right, Paulbo? Like, because I mean, I imagine something like that has some cost to it. So
the individual societies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do it on your own and just kind of run solo, but a lot of, especially if you're doing like a specific company or regiment, if you want to fall in with somebody, you're paying due, you're going to drill and, you know, practicing all your manual arm and all that.
Yeah.
So where do your costumes come from?
For me, we have a wonderful lady who sews museum level pieces over in St. Louis that sews all of our uniforms for us.
That's awesome. That's very cool.
And how long have you been doing this?
I've been into this. I first got into it 7 years ago, and then I did my first reenactment 6 years.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
So I spent about a year just drilling and assembling my kit before I even started.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah, no, David has been doing Renaissance Fair since the time of the Renaissance.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And well, at least as far as the Ren Fair goes, most of it you pretty much, if you don't make it yourself, you buy it from someone who has handmade it. So pieces like that can be very expensive depending on what you're getting. Like my boots were handmade, but they were $600. But they're also going to last me a lifetime. So
Right.
I've resold them twice. I've had new soles put on them twice already. These boots are amazing.
Yeah, you know, it's gonna be the same thing with just about everything because, you know, my hat, my tricorn that I wear was
I bet.
$150.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's lasted me. It looks the same today as it did 7 years ago. So
yeah, and you're very lucky you have access to someone who willingly will make you stuff. I mean, I occasionally know some people that make stuff, and if they're very nice, I could be like, if I give you money, will you please make me something? Otherwise, you have to rely on vendors, or, you know, Etsy's a good place to find stuff that's handmade.
Yeah.
Oftentimes people that are just going for themselves, like the Red Fair, will find stuff on Amazon and stuff to wear, which is awesome, perfectly fine. Hey, do whatever you want to wear. But for the people that get deeper into it, like our costumes, the ones we do, while not having to pass inspection anymore, I still try and make sure that I'm, you know, wearing proper linen and not using modern fabrics and, you know, not using dyes that didn't exist. And so it's a lot of greens and a lot of browns and a lot of whites and off-whites. And
do you see on occasion, do you see any like and I'm asking this to Paulbo specifically because I know the answer is yes from you, David, because I've been at that Ren Fair. Do you see anybody who has like prized possession, like a real thing that was from the time that they use as part of their costume?
I don't actually know. I know a lot of people who have original pieces like in a collection.
Yeah.
My sergeant is
using them in a reenactment is almost crazy,
gunsmith.
But you know what happens.
Right.
I know 2 Civil War guys that use real muskets.
Yeah, I don't know of anyone from
That's crazy. What?
Yeah.
anyone specific.
They're using a real.
That's a lot of trust in that
Enfield
gun.
rifled
Holy
muskets.
cow.
They've
That's
had
a
them for
lot of
years. They've used them
trust.
for years. They are 100% real, 100% accurate.
I'm assuming they're not fired.
Yeah, all the time. They use blank charges all the time.
Even with blanks, I wouldn't.
They're
trust
only
one
like
of those to not blow up in
25%
my
blank
hand.
wads, but yeah, they fire blanks at them all the time.
Yeah, I imagine somebody who's crazy enough to do that is also.
I wouldn't want to
they
put
know
a
how
full
to maintain it.
I wouldn't want to put a full charge down one of those. Jesus, no.
No.
But yeah, that's I know. Like I said, I know a couple Civil War guys that have their Enfields that they love, and then I know one guy has a couple of. He's got a Revolutionary sword that's real, a Civil War sword that both Union and Confederate that are real. He's got a World War II Marine Corps saber that's real.
Now that you say that, I do know a guy because he's an officer, so he doesn't actually use his sword in the battle, and so he uses an actual sword, an original sword.
He'll wave it around, take it out, wave it around,
waving it around.
Yeah, give orders
doing all the orders. Yep.
Yeah.
And I knew the answer had to be yes. There's always someone who has some cool thing that you're not just going to leave it at home. Or
you'll see that guy walking around with that cap that looks like it's 1,000,000 years old because it is. Yeah, his hat's original. My grandpappy gave it to me.
Now, if it's true, maybe with some people.
Who knows? That's the other part of the fun is people that do it for the pride of them getting to show it off to people, like, are usually honest about it. People will embellish it all the time. Take it with a grain of salt. It's half the fun.
Yeah. David's only real prop is his Starfleet communicator.
For that particular costume, yes. That is the only modern thing I wear, and I keep it hidden except for when it's needed.
Paulbo, have we told you about the Starfleet communicator and why that's a thing in Ren Fair?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so
David.
Like I said, I work at Ren Fair, and there's always people that show up in Starfleet uniforms. Because it's Ren Fair, why not?
Right.
So I have a thing where I'll like walk over to them and be like, flash them my communicator badge. Be like, I want to see you. I want your captain's name and your ship number. I'm putting you on report right now. I've been here 3 years deep cover. You come down here without even a costume on. What the hell?
That's so
I did it
funny.
to 2 groups.
I love that.
The last year I worked there, and the one group, I think I scared them because they just looked at me like wide-eyed. The second group actually played back, and it was amazing.
Okay, so
that's
Star
incredible.
Trek thing.
I love
now
that.
You're on Star Trek, I gotta go on a little thing. If you're not watching Strange New Worlds, there's something wrong with you. It's so fucking good. It's so good.
Now, Anya, I let the episodes build up a bit, and I just I wasn't in a good place to finish watching part 2 of Hegemony yet.
Oh, no, fair.
I need to be in a good place to finish watching it. And then I can watch the rest of the season. But there's nothing.
Apparently there's something fucking wrong with me, so.
Yeah.
It's amazing, David.
David is a diehard Star Wars fan, and as such has to hate everything about Star Trek and never watch the show.
That's not true at all.
Both can exist. This. This is wait. No. I'm gonna say this because Brian got to go on his rant last week. Okay, so you don't get to shut up my rant this time. Okay. I have seen 5 Star Wars fans this week bitch and moan about Star Trek. I never hear Star Trek fans bitch and moan about Star Wars. Every Star Trek fan I've ever met has been like, oh, I also like Star Wars. But Star Wars fans are like, Star Trek's boring. Okay, I love how Star Trek fans can branch beyond our little box and enjoy other things, other forms of culture. I just wish the Star Wars fans would do the same.
I like both.
No. The best part is you can't see it very well, but there's actually my communicator badge is right there on my microphone.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah. But
you can see that too if you go to patreon.com/nerdpodcastradio. Watch our video.
Yeah, you can watch the green screen box.
I deserved my joke deserved that, Anya. That I will let you know that I like both.
Oh, that was good.
I was giving David a hard time because I knew he liked both, and I think it's really funny that you jumped on it. Paulbo was going to say something right before that happened.
Oh, I was just going to say, David likes Star Wars? I couldn't tell.
You don't say. Oh, wait, Star Wars, right? It's WARS. Yeah. No, I don't think I've heard of that.
The Stair Wars?
Yeah.
Why are the stairs fighting?
Why are the stars fighting each other? That makes no sense.
It's that Star Trek thing, right?
Star Adventure?
No, Mom. Trek is
That's
what a train
with
runs
Kevin
on.
Sorbo, right?
Trek is what the Enterprise goes on.
Andromeda with Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
I've never seen Andromeda. Yeah, I've never seen it.
What's his name made it? Gene Roddenberry.
Okay, we should get back on topic. We're so far off of like reenactment.
Wait, we had a topic? Oh, right, we
if
did,
we
yes.
jump into Star Trek, we are not far from reenactments at all.
Yeah, having been to
Star Trek
Pasadena
reenactment
Star
would be
Trek
so
convention,
fun.
we're not far off at all. It's pretty much a reenactment.
Yo, it would be so fun to do a Star Trek and reenactment of something. I think I would really enjoy that. Like like maybe like a Klingon versus like Federation battle or something.
If
Go
if
to
you pay
any
a bunch,
Klingon wedding at Comic-Con.
if you pay a bunch of money, I don't know if it still exists. Does the Star Trek thing at the Luxor still exist?
No, I don't actually. I'm not sure.
They either do or used to have this thing where you could pay a bunch of money and you could play around on the set of the Enterprise and like reenact stuff.
I don't know if they still do that or not.
There was probably 15 years ago, they had an entire recreation of the bridge of the Enterprise at Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
Ooh,
I remember
they
that.
Had a whole Star Trek, exhibit in it, and we went one year, and it was a great time.
That's awesome.
So this isn't reenactment related or anything, but I do want to nerd flex on Paulbo because this will be something.
Oh shit! Get the horns ready.
Minecraft's coming back.
So no, not Minecraft at all. This is airplane related.
Oh,
okay.
Shit.
When I was a little kid, I got to sit in the cockpit of Concorde.
That's so dope! Yo!
My aunt.
If you'd like to see that spit take by Paulbo, that's patreon.com/nerdpodcastradio.
My aunt used to work my aunt sold cargo for lots of different things, and she worked for Flying Tigers at the time and took me to an event. And the Concorde was there. It was before it was taken out of commission, and they were given tours, and I was a little kid and got to sit in the cockpit.
That's amazing.
Yes, they had to distract the child as they loaded the cargo onto the plane.
Does anybody here understand what selling cargo mean? It's like the cargo space. It's like you're a broker.
Yes.
You're
moving shipments to
my
places.
Aunt's job was like really like she worked for UPS. She worked for all sorts of companies, but she sold it's sort of like a travel agent for space, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you work with companies and you have accounts. Okay.
Absolutely.
Because I never really understand it. It was always one of those, like, if someone describes themselves as an accountant.
Basically, the companies call you and say, we need to move this pallet here, put it on a plane somewhere. You then, with knowing what planes are going where, has what cargo space left, can slot it to go, you're just playing Tetris with planes and cargo base. Sounds very, very fun yet annoying.
I've worked with a little cargo in my day, and it's really interesting, especially once you get into like smaller planes like what I work with.
I used to unload cargo from trucks, but that was a long time ago.
We had one plane come in. Their cargo was 7 puppies. They were rescues from somewhere down in Tennessee. They were taking them up to Baltimore.
Thank you for clarifying, because I was wondering what a puppy was in regards to airplanes.
The little baby planes, you pick them. You got to nurse them for a little while before they learn to fly.
Yeah. David, I was gonna say, I think you'd get along with a lot of pilots really well, because the number one way to build hours, you've got to get your hours in to get the experience, and the best way to do it, fly to Columbia, fly passenger trips to Columbia and back.
Exactly.
So you get
we will save the airplane episode for when we introduce Paulbo to Anna Meyer, and that would be fun
so
thing.
much fun.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, no, that episode
Dude,
would be
no.
great.
Have you talked to Anna lately?
I haven't.
Call that bitch or call that woman, please. And I love you.
Call that.
You're amazing. I meant that with love. I swear to God.
I need to catch up with that. I need to see what she's doing nowadays. So, okay, I will hijack the episode to shout out Anna Meyer. So, Paulbo, Anna is a cartographer. She's a fantasy cartographer, and she does maps for like tabletop role-playing games.
Okay.
But in her history, she has been a jet pilot and worked with like the intelligence in Sweden, and she was in special forces, and she has this like crazy, amazing history. And
she really can't tell anyone about it.
Yeah, well,
much.
And
there are things that can be shared.
Phenomenal DM, like one of the best DMs ever.
Yeah,
she did the DMing in the castle thing.
She also flies virtually everywhere as a virtual pilot, and is awesome.
During
she
the
live
pandemic,
streams during it, and that was amazing.
During the pandemic, she worked at a virtual convention, because she does a lot of gaming convention stuff, and she thought it would be fun to virtually fly to the convention. because
Oh,
it was a
that's
virtual
fun.
convention.
Yeah, that's so cool.
She mapped out her flight path. She does a lot of flight sim stuff
Mm.
and
That's
has
the other thing I've gotten really deep into recently is MS Flight Sim. I've been digging into it a little bit.
we have a joke that because her office looks like the cockpit of a plane, and we have a joke that it's just a cover and she's just doing drone strikes for shadow governments.
Yeah. Notice she hasn't talked to you in a while.
And she's busy.
I know. I'm
Um,
just poking fun.
so
Anna, we love you.
back to reenactments. Is
Yes,
there any?
reenactments.
So we're only halfway in, really. I mean, we got about another half hour before we jump on the bonus episode. But Paulbo, is there anything else you want to share that we might forget to ask about?
That's such an open-ended question.
Oh, I got a question for you.
Hit me.
How do you eat your hardtack?
Oh, that's a good question.
So this is the thing. This is the one thing that my group doesn't do to period is we
Really? They don't
like
make you
our
eat
food too
hardtack?
much. No.
Oh, you're missing out.
And so we bring all of the food and we cook some really great meals. Have a great time with it. But
See, in my childhood, I went to Williamsburg and got to see all that, like colonial with the food and stuff. And I was hoping that there would be a share that you guys do camp and stuff, because I know a lot of reenactments group they do camp. They because they reenact everything before the battle.
So the Civil War group that I'm a member of, they partner with the group that does the reenactments at Fort Tejon up in the Grapevine Pass. And when they go out there and do the reenactments, they usually camp overnight for the weekend in a full-on company campsite. They actually will build out the company camp, including the mess and everything. And they have the 4 basic food groups, beans, bacon, whiskey, lard, and you fry you soak your hardtack with a little bit of water or tea, then you fry it in some lard and some bacon grease.
Was hardtack the food for 7 years war and Revolutionary War?
Well, hardtack's been the food since it was invented.
hardtack and jerky.
Yeah, the Pilgrims ate
Stick it in the pack
hardtack.
and
Well, I'm going to
stick it
rephrase
in the
the
pack and it's
question.
never going to go bad.
Yeah,
I'm going to rephrase the question so you have a valid answer.
you bake the shit out of it so it
If
lasts
you
forever.
were there in those times, how would you eat your hardtack?
Mm. Let me rephrase. Have you ever eaten hardtack?
I have not.
Okay.
Well, it's like a dry biscuit, isn't it?
So what they do is you're basically baking unleavened bread. You're baking bread that's unleavened, so it's like a biscuit, but you bake it slowly, so there is zero moisture in it, so it'll last forever.
Yeah.
And
so
it's so
you would probably
hard,
have to like
you
soak
ha-
it in water.
it'll break your teeth. You
Yeah.
have to soften it somehow. One of the best ways of doing it is frying it in a little bacon, letting the fat absorb in and frying it up a little bit. It softens it, gives it a really nice flavor, makes it savory.
See what you
You
do.
could
Take
also
your
go the other
brandy
way, make it
ration,
sweet.
Soak it.
Soak it in some tea or some milk or something, add a little sugar.
What were you going to say, Paulbo?
Take your brandy ration, soak it in that, and eat it.
Yeah, that works too.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, in the Civil War, every man, I believe, that was a pound of bacon, a pound of flour, 8 hardtacks, and a pound of coffee a day.
Okay, you want to hear a funny one? So Hank Green recently did a video on YouTube where he ate every single Taco Bell menu item, but it was freeze dried.
Oh, I saw that.
He knew a guy who freeze dried food, and he freeze dried every Taco Bell item, and he was eating it freeze dried. And I put a comment on the thing, joking around, going like, "I bet you America's looking at this right now, trying to be like, I wonder if we could freeze dry Taco Bell for MREs for the military."
They already do.
I imagine.
That's
No, 100%.
Just
Yeah.
MREs.
The tortillas that you get in military MREs are 100% made by Taco Bell. They could not find a tortilla that lasted preservation as long as Taco Bell tortillas did, so they
my
just bought them
God,
from Taco
that's
Bell.
Is
So it's already a thing then? That's
Yeah, Taco Bell
crazy.
sells tortillas to the government for MREs.
Okay, but here's the thing: the freeze dried thing would actually be a massive improvement because literally Hank Green just stuck it in his jerky drawer, which isn't refrigerated, and the Taco Bell stayed perfectly good.
Well, yeah, it's freeze dried.
It wouldn't go bad.
That's the thing about hardtack. I mean, occasionally you'd get some with like weevils in it, but as long as you pick them out, you're fine.
Now, David, I want to share something with you because I mean, we all know that I grew up on a compound when I was a little kid.
Yes, it is known.
There was a weevil problem when it came to the spice rack.
Mm.
And the word weevil still triggers me to this day because I have put crushed red pepper on pasta and had little mealworms pop out of the.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. And I just want to share that David brought back a horrible traumatic memory completely unintentionally. And,
I mean,
that's the kind of content we provide here at Nerd Podcast Radio.
If given the choice between two, would you pick a strong weevil or a weak weevil?
I would prefer not to have any weevils.
Well, I mean, the problem, though, is you must always pick the lesser of two weevils.
I fucking saw that joke coming.
So
I fucking saw that coming. I hope you know that.
David, you remind me. You're sharing these facts, and I have to
I'm
share.
sorry.
I have to share something with Paulbo real quick. And tangents are embraced here on this show, and this is going to be a fucking big one. So, Paulbo, do you know the difference between ravens and crows? Because I'm going to go into great detail.
No.
No,
Ravens
okay.
say nevermore.
So, there's that whole thing about ravens being larger and intelligent, all this stuff, but there's a much easier way to tell. So when ravens fly, so you've seen in like eagles and other birds, when they fly, their wings are spread out. You see like fingers at the end of the wings, and those fingers are called pinions. The easiest way to tell the difference between ravens and crows is because a crow has 18 pinions in total, while a raven only has 17. It's odd that's an odd number. So when it comes down to it, it's just a matter of opinion.
Oh,
I knew. Yeah, I've heard this one before.
You've heard it from me.
The second you said ravens and crows, I was like, I've heard this before, but I don't remember.
Probably heard it from me.
Okay,
I probably did hear
one
it from you, honestly.
I got a fun one. Did you know that they don't make French fries in France? They make them in Greece.
So hold on. Where's the kick button? I got karma the other day because I am usually the person who tells the horrible groan-worthy anti-jokes, and I got hit so hard because I was reading a story on Reddit the other night, and it talked about how this guy was proposing to this girl and he got interrupted by this guy who tripped and hit his eye on a glass, and they had to put a bandage on the eye, and he ended up losing his fiance because, and I'm really like interested in reading this and going through it, and I'm like wondering what happens, and he ends up losing his fiance because she bonded with this guy Joseph over the injury, and he lost track of them and never could find him, and he ended up losing his fiance, and then he ended the paragraph with, if it hadn't have been for Cotton Eye Joe. I lost.
Oh my God.
I love those. I have a whole document full of those. I'm gonna write that one down.
Masterfully done. Well played, sir. That was masterfully done.
Jesus.
I tip my cap to you, sir.
That was good.
I had to leave the room a second to collect my thoughts on that one.
Oh, the Raven?
That would knock me for a loop. I had to get up for a second. That was good. That was so good. Fuck. I didn't see it coming. That was the problem.
Great. That's great. During the bonus episode, I'll tell the worst possible anti-joke that's anyone's ever been told, but we'll save that. What was our topic again?
We were talking about reenacting things.
Yeah, Anya.
What's up?
So up until today, we have two people here who have a lot of experience with it. My experience with reenactments is when I was a kid watching Revolutionary War reenactments and going to Ren Fair. Do you have any opinion of it? Do you have any experience of it? What are your feelings about the topic?
Thing I have to reenactment. It was okay. So like, I think my dad, my bio dad, when he was younger, he used to do like fights and stuff and like reenactment stuff at Ren Fair, but I was too young to remember any of that. So the closest thing I have to reenactment experience is Vampire the Masquerade LARPing.
Oh yeah, 100%. That is a 100% a different type of you would definitely call that a reenactment.
Yeah,
you're reenacting a time period.
Yeah, for years, I was part of the Mind's Eye Society, LARPing as a vampire.
That's awesome.
I had multiple characters. So yeah, if you have any questions about vampire LARP, like I'll totally answer those.
Now I would be hard pressed to call reenactment LARPing. Do they have a lot in common?
Depends on the period your role play is set in. Sometimes yes.
it depends on the reenactment too, because we do a French and Indian War reenactment. We do it at Fort Massac. It's in Metropolis, Illinois. It was a French fort. It was abandoned during the American Revolution. It was used briefly by George Rogers Clark, and then it was occupied during the War of 1812. There was never a battle there. So it literally is just like before the battle, all of the sergeants and commanders of all of the different units, they get together and they say, all right, what do y'all want to do? And so I think in that aspect, it would be more like a LARP, honestly, than a
That sounds
reenactment.
optimal.
Yeah.
It's actually my favorite reenactment.
Yeah, because it would be a lot harder to organize something that happened.
Mm-hmm.
The Civil War reenactments I've been to, you generally are just formation movements. They don't really have the opposing force ones, but I've heard stories of the opposing force ones where they go to each unit and go, all right, when you get up here, you're going to start firing at each other. You're going to take so many losses after so long. Who's left is going to turn and run. You'll then meet in the reformation area. After 5 minutes, the wounded can get up and go with them. So often, your sergeant would call out a number, and when your number got hit, they'd route out everybody with certain numbers, and when the sergeant would call your number, you would drop.
See, those are so much less fun, because even I've done one of those before, but even the ones where most of the ones that we do that are actual battles, it's our instructions are just like, all right, y'all are gonna win, y'all are gonna lose today. Make it look like you're losing. And so it's occasionally you'll hear our sergeant yell out like, more of y'all need to die, or it's the opposite of, too many of my men are dying, stop it.
Stop dying, damn it.
Stop dying.
We're supposed to win. Stop dying.
I'm going to ask a weird question, but I think there's enough people here that are experienced enough with reenactments that this won't be so strange. Paulbo, are there drummers?
Yes. We have one drummer within our unit. He runs commands and he'll drum cadence for us. And in a couple of the reenactments we go to, there are full fife and drum corps. The one I mentioned, Massac, we get 2 fife and drum corps and a full pipe and drum corps with the 82nd Highlanders.
Nice.
I forgot about the fife.
Yeah. It's Civil War guys. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
It's a lot of fun until the 82nders are tuning their bagpipes at 1 a.m. because they're drunk and haven't gone to sleep yet and want some music.
They got to play some outlawed songs on outlawed pipes.
Reminds me of the one Highland festival I've been to. That was amazing.
Oh, my favorite story about a bagpipe was I went to high school, and every Wednesday morning at about 8 o'clock in the morning, this kid would go out into the middle of the football field with a set of bagpipes and start playing. And over the course of the entire first semester, you could hear him start getting better and better as he played. It was cool. You could actually, if you paid attention and listened to it, you could actually hear him progress.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think the most interesting thing we did with LARP was one year we joined like one of the bigger groups. So first we had a friend of ours. He was just DMing a solo group. But then that fell apart. So we went to join the big Mind's Eye Society group, right? And what we originally were gonna do is we're gonna have my character be the kind of like dumb face of the anarch movement in our area. Basically the idea was I was going to be the person that's leading things, air quote, but the smart people behind the scenes were going to do everything, right? And my character was kind of like a white wankster rapper, think like Malibu's Most Wanted,
Mm-hmm.
But I showed up late to the game that we were supposed to vote for my character, so we had to go with my wife's character at the time, ex-wife. Now she was playing a particular character called a caitiff, which is a really oppressed vampire group. Basically, they're clanless, and everyone looks down on them. So this was a huge deal that she won this election, right? So she goes to talk with the leader of the Camarilla, or the Camarilla. And there was a bit of a miscommunication in what the leader of the Camarilla said. Basically, she was kind of saying hey, as long as you don't break any of our as long as you don't act completely out of fucking hand, we'll get along perfectly fine. We can get along with this. But it sounded like she basically said something along the lines of, if you bend the knee, there won't be problems. And my ex-wife was basically well, I'm not fucking bending the knee. And it created this giant anarch Camarilla almost like mini like kind of Cold War that like spread across the country. Like we were in discords in other games across the country dealing with political nonsense all over the fucking place. We drove to other cities in California, go to other games to do like political shenanigans.
Oh, don't worry. Political shenanigans only happens if we're at war. What's that alarm for? Whoop, whoop. What happened? We're at war.
Yeah, shit was fucking. It got crazy. It got really out of hand. It was really fun.
What's the Mind's Eye Society?
They used to be so you know how Pathfinder has like their organized play.
Oh, that was the governing body.
Yeah,
It was the governing body for
they changed
the
their
big
name
chapter
now.
houses of the White Wolf.
Yeah, they changed their
Dark
name
Ages.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed their name now. But yeah,
Yeah, I don't know what they are now. It's been so long since I've interacted with them.
yeah, I haven't interacted with them in a while either.
I went once a long time ago.
So, Paulbo, I got a question for you. I don't think I've ever asked you this before. So you're doing reenactment, which is something that a lot of people consider to not be a really nerdy thing, depending on what region you're in. Do you have any experience with tabletop role-playing games?
Yes.
You do.
Have we
didn't
not
know
talked
that.
about this before? That's
Not
interesting.
really. Not really.
I founded the D&D club at my university.
That's fucking great. That's so
So I
cool.
gotta
Pablo.
ask
That's
some-
so cool of you, man.
That's awesome.
I
Can
gotta
I
ask
go-
some questions.
Wait, I want to retroactively go back. I want to give all my widgets to Paulbo.
I gotta know first off. So, Forgotten Realms or Eberron?
Eberron mostly.
Eberron. Ooh. So was it 4th edition originally?
No,
Because 4th edition was Eberron first, right?
I thought Eberron was the area that Matt Mercer designed.
No. That's Tal'Duri. Eberron's old. Eberron came out.
Apologies.
3.5.
Apologies.
Yeah, Eberron was so this is going to be my D&D historian nonsense that most people probably don't
I've
know
only
this.
ever played Forgotten Realms,
So Eberron was a campaign setting that was a contest in Dragon Magazine, and a reader won it and got to make a setting, and they published it.
That's great.
And then Eberron became the default setting for a long time before they made it Forgotten Realms.
yeah, I've only
I
ever
didn't-
played Forgotten Realms.
What do you guys think
I
about
didn't-
Brendan Lee Mulligan quitting his job working on the American Girl doll shoes to do the next Critical Role campaign?
You realize the American Girl doll shoes thing was a skit for that show.
I am
Right.
very
It
well
was
aware,
meant-
David. I
Okay.
was making a joke. I'm
Gotcha.
committing to the bit.
I'm just making sure. Sorry, I apologize.
So Paulbo, I got it. So are you a forever GM?
Welcome to the club, brother.
So the reason I said Eberron, my first ever campaign was really just a 2-shot, and it was set in Eberron. That is the only, other than a 1-shot I did with my friends, that is the only time I've ever played as a player. I have always been a GM, and I'm just dumped into that role.
Oh, okay. You're
High
coming
five.
back for our next when we do another GM episode, because we haven't done a GM episode for a while, and I'd like to do one where we have a different guest, because we usually have Anna on for him, and I'd like to do a different GM episode, because forever GMs, they're not as common as you think they are, because Reddit talks about the forever GM thing like everyone who plays is a forever GM. That's not possible. GMs are not common, or there wouldn't be forever GMs. It's just we complain so much that there's articles on Reddit about it. My last game was because I hadn't GM'd in forever, so I got to play for the first time in a really long time. And
Nice.
the whole, like almost instantly I missed GMing. And now I'm GMing that group because I really, really wanted to. But it was still fun. It was fun. I'm not gonna trash my GM. He was great. But David, Eberron is where Warforged originally came from.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, I get it. I've always thought of the Forgotten Realms was because I'm more familiar with the Forgotten Realms than I am Eberron.
Now, listeners,
I didn't know that Eberron was mainly 4th edition because I've only ever played 5th.
I played 4th edition very briefly and immediately stopped because 4th edition sucked.
Yeah, I heard really bad things about 4th edition. I've never played, but I heard a lot of complaints.
It's just bad.
I don't know when Forgotten Realms became the default setting.
5th edition was defaulted to Forgotten Realms.
Yeah. but I thought it was Eberron in fourth. I didn't know if it was ever Eberron in fifth, but I know Eberron existed in fifth. So you might have just had an experience with Eberron in fifth. It's not like it didn't exist as a campaign setting.
Yeah,
I know there's
I
know there's a campaign setting book for it in fifth edition. So I just forget that. Yeah, it's the other one. The Tal'Dorei Guide is the Critical Role one.
Oh, and Keith Baker is the Eberron creator. Listeners, I want to let everybody know that my knowledge of D&D might be a little wrong because I actually haven't played or run Dungeons and Dragons in many years, but I try to keep up. I've been Pathfinder for so long that my most of my D&D information is either that weird ADHD osmosis where I know a little bit about everything, or it's secondhand knowledge. I got into I was at a game shop just a few months ago, and there were two people arguing over a D&D rule. Ooh. And I corrected them and told them what the role actually was. And I haven't played 5th edition before or ran it.
Wow.
And I knew it. And it's probably just from watching content.
Probably.
It was the you can only use a cantrip as bonus spell.
Correct.
Yeah. So when you run Paulbo, and this is still reenactment related because we're talking about role playing. When you run, do you pre-written module, sandbox, homebrew, existing campaign? What do you do?
I've done a lot of pre-writtens and existing, like not Wizards of the Coast written, but pre-written by other people. I have tried to do homebrew, and I'm not good at it. I'm not creative enough to really do my own homebrew campaigns. But
the easiest way to do homebrew is use stuff from other sources and change the goddamn names.
Yeah, file off serial numbers.
Seriously,
serial numbers.
It's the easiest way to do it.
The
easiest way to do it.
One of my favorite city names to use is I stole from a podcast called D&D, and it's Place Names Are Hard.
Nice.
That's great. I like that.
Popping up good. In my
that's good.
Popping up in my campaign.
Yeah, but no, seriously, if you ever have a problem or you need to come up on the fly, look up a city in a book somewhere, use it. Yeah. Change the name.
Well, so the good news is I have a D&D group, and we've been trying off and on to get a campaign going consistently for a year now, and D&D being D&D and scheduling issues and all of that. But none of them have read any of the stuff, any of Brandon Sanderson's books, and I'm deep down the Brandon Sanderson rabbit hole, so I keep just stealing stuff from him.
Yeah, exactly. Then you definitely have an unfair advantage.
The Mistborn or
Mistborn, all of it, the entire Cosmere. So I've listened to the entire Cosmere except for his newest book, which I'm halfway through, and then I'm about halfway through a re-listen of the Stormlight Archive.
I saw the new book on the shelf at the store, the new Cosmere book, and it was like, did they hire a YA artist to do the cover? That was my first thing I thought. I was like, wow, they make this look like it's marketed to teenagers. Is it supposed to be?
See, honestly, all of Brandon Sanderson's books are just YA books with a little extra violence crammed in to make them appealing to adults.
Except for Wax and Wayne.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the next era of Mistborn to come out.
I'm looking forward, especially so Isles of the Emberdark is his newest book, and I'm halfway through it, and it takes a big zoom out on the Cosmere and lets you look at kind of a lot of stuff, and I'm really looking forward to, now that I've started reading, I'm really looking forward to the Era 3.
I want to, since my players don't listen to the podcast, I'm going to share something that's really funny. I'm really into the Iron Druid series by Kevin Hearn. And whenever I have a druid in game, one of my players is putting his current character on hiatus and bringing in the character's daughter so he can change stuff up a little bit and then bring his old character back later. Also, he's doing it to teach the newer players that you can do stuff like that. And he's bringing a druid in. And whenever I have a druid in game, I do things that I learned from that book. I do it all the time. Great. And no one ever points it out, because there's so many books, and I pray for it to happen. I pray for someone to say, "Oh my God, is that from that book series?" But it's great because I read those books, and since it's a book about druids, you can do things that make druids seem cool. Like you can have an elemental start talking to them and ask them to do things for them.
Yeah,
it's just a cool thing. And I love saying that you just start hearing the voice of an elemental speaking in druid tongue. It's like there's people dumping waste in this place. Please go there and help right now. It's very important. Right in the middle of stuff going on. And you get to see the druid go, sorry, I can't help you save the princess. I have to go do eco-terrorism.
I'll be back as quick as I can.
Sorry, guys, we need to go. Please come with me. There's a
guys. This can wait till tomorrow. There's something else we got to do right now.
Remind me to share my sandbox experience going right now in the bonus episode. But for now, I just want to say,
sorry, before we go to the bonus episode, there's one more story that I want to share because it cracks me up every time.
Please, we need more.
Pulling us back over to reenacting. So I mentioned we did Fort Niagara. It is on Lake Erie. Literally, you've got the fort sitting on top of the hill. Down the hill is a Coast Guard station. Across the river is Canada. Mm-hmm. And so we do the French Regiment de Guienne, French regular infantry, and we have our little group who's based around, the Western Front of the American Revolution. And we went up there and joined another Regiment de Guienne, who were all Quebecois, French Canadian.
Nice.
And it was the most hilarious bit of people watching the entire weekend we were there, because my sergeant has the thickest redneck accent ever, and like hearing all of these French Canadians guys' heads whip around when he's yelling out French command, and watching them like try and puzzle out what he was saying, because most of them didn't speak English, and so he was doing his best with the command, and these guys were like, what the hell is redneck
Can you
doing?
remember what any of the commands sounded like?
See, I know all of the commands. I can't do an impression.
You can't do them in a redneck accent. So what's one of the commands? What's one of the commands? I want to see if we can recreate this thing happen.
So it's I'll do the firing commands. It's in English, it's make ready, present, fire. It's aparte, en jeu, fou. And so you aparte, en jeu, and he pronounces the J, en jeu, boo.
On Jew?
Yes, on Jew.
Yes, which I don't think it has a J in it. I don't know how to spell it. But,
it probably doesn't.
He finds a J in there.
He shoved a J in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. A reenactment where you have to speak another language, and in that L, that's wonderful. Which I'm sure happened in some actual war. Oh, that's
one of the
great.
reasons massive slave armies were so impractical. They spoke so many different languages. It was hard to tell them what to do.
I want to go. I want to see some of the European reenactment crews, like the Roman legions and stuff like that, because I know those kind of things are harder to find in North America.
Yeah, but
they exist too.
One of my dream cosplays is a full Roman legionnaire.
That's cool.
Even cooler if you have some partners with you and you can do the turtle.
They actually make the armor out of lightweight aluminum and stuff nowadays, so it only weighs a fraction of what it should. I've been
into all the Roman the talk about using Roman concrete to redo roads, because they finally figured out the formula.
Yeah.
Self-healing concrete. It's cool to see an application of some history creating a revolution in science. And it took that long for them to figure it out.
Yeah, well, they had to find it written down somewhere.
But it's cool to see the sciences kind of all working together to make something like that happen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I just want to say thanks, Paulbo. That this was a great idea for a topic. We didn't really have one today, so it worked out perfect.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Everyone want to laugh. Paulbo asked me for the outline in chat.
Yeah.
Because I had one last time. All right. This has been Nerd Podcast Radio. I'm Super Brian, joined by David the Third.
Bye, everybody.
Anya.
Bye, everyone. I love you.
And he's on an adventure. Paulbo Baggins.
Bye.
The road goes ever on and on.
I wish I knew it. This has been Nerd Podcast Radio. Stay nerdy, stay informed, and stay awesome. Hit it, David.
Stay awesome. Bye, everybody.
Podcast Radio.